Vice President Harris is part of this administration and had a leading role, according to mainstream media, on handling the border.
Let's get real. Border crossings are down in the wake of President Biden's executive actions that he took after Congress failed to act.
So he could have taken action.
He wanted Congress to resolve that because that would have been more durable. But when Trump came in, talked Republicans out of their own bipartisan project because he didn't want the issue to get better. Remember, the worse things are at the border, the better things get for Donald Trump. So he has a vested interest in it remaining chaotic down there. I think this also helps to explain why he didn't exactly conclusively solve it when it was his turn.
That is a number of great points from Pete Buttigieg, that obviously Donald Trump wants there to be chaos at the border. We know this. You're not surprised to hear that, or the fact that Donald Trump didn't fix the border like he would have you believe as he rewrites history. Again, you're not surprised by that, but Fox News viewers probably will be, and that's where he went to deliver the message. And so Pete Buttigieg has often, over the past 3 years or so, seen that as his mission. I'm going to go into enemy territory and I'm going to give them a dose of inconvenient facts. And there's more. He's going to broaden the topic to crime in this.
The false message of the RNC was that this is leading to an increase in crime.
Well,
and I think it's really important that we talk about
have
crime.
Been very high profile about people. If they had not been in this country illegally,
this is my
people
point,
would still
right?
be alive.
Trying to make people think that crime is up when crime is down under Joe Biden and crime was up under Donald Trump. Now, I don't know how often that gets reported on this network. So if you're watching this at home, do yourself a favor and look up the data.
Well, we invite that.
Great. So if you look this up at home, you will know that crime went down under Biden and crime went up under Trump. And I think the violent crime, for sure. So I think the really important thing to ask is, why would America want to go back to the higher crime that we experienced under Donald Trump?
It's a great line, a great ending there. I believe that's Shannon Bream on Fox News is like desperately trying to get a handle on that thing. And unfortunately, the facts just are not what she wants them to be. Crime has gone down under Biden in the same way that the economy is doing better under Biden. Crime went up under Trump and the economy crashed under Trump. That's just what it is. I'm sorry that you don't like to hear that. I know that Fox News is supposed to be a safe space where conservatives have their hair lightly stroked and their belly rubbed, and they're told that they're very special and that they're God's most unique creation. But facts are important, and they don't care about your feelings, I often hear.
A storm is tearing up the digital media industry. Only our audience can save us in these difficult times. Help us reach our goal of 100,000 new members at tyt.com/team.
Buttigieg is great at just powering through and delivering the truth. It needs to be heard, and I'm glad that it was. What do you think?
Look, on substance, you're totally right, and those are the facts. I personally dislike Joe Biden's legacy when it comes to dealing with immigration and the crisis at the border, and I also dislike some of the ways that he hasn't actually like reined in the police and allowed them to get away with like their lack of accountability. Blah blah blah. That being said, the demeanor A+, leaning in, explaining it calmly, coolly, and like you said, not getting waylaid by the things that she's throwing at him, just getting out the facts. He couldn't find his camera, but that doesn't matter. It was excellent.
That is true, he could not. I just want to throw out one final thing. This is a criticism of Shannon Bream. And again, this is where he was ready for this conversation and she as the anchor was not. When he's like, crime is actually down and you're focusing on it in a way that's inaccurate. And she says, well, there's high profile cases. That proves his point, not your point. High profile doesn't mean actually worse. It means the media talked about it. We don't dispute that.
Former presidents, there's like a really high profile cases against.
That's true. Those are high profile too. No, we understand that the media is taking particularly gruesome acts of violence and talking about them a ton. That just doesn't mean that crime is higher. Again, she's making his point, not her own point. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.